Protesters are still on the streets of the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, after the worst violence since mass anti-government protests began in November. 26 people are now confirmed dead and more than 200 others were injured after clashes between demonstrators and security forces on Tuesday night. This is the scene right now in Independence Square. Opposition leaders have been urging protesters to hold their ground. International reaction to the violence has been swift, with the US and the EU calling for sanctions against Ukraine. Andrew Simmons is live for us in Kiev. Andrew, what is the feeling there? Are people bracing for more violence?
They certainly are, Jane. There's a grim, eerie feeling on the streets of the capital. This is a cathedral very near to the square where many of the injured were treated. The opposition always bringing the medical people here, to the supplies there. And we're getting media reports this evening that the number of dead has risen from 26. We also have a team on the ground who have seen a burned body. It's one of several, claim the demonstrators, recovered from the trade union building that was burned out. Now, we're not sure of the numbers, but it's quite possible the death toll could rise. Right across the country, there's unease about the situation. As you rightly pointed out, this is the worst violence since these protests began 3 months ago.
Andrew, any idea what happens next?
Well, as Barnaby says, there is no real room for compromise on either side. The president, Viktor Yanukovych, is of the view that this is really a standout now. He is saying quite categorically that anybody going into the square is supporting radicals, and his security forces are determined to stamp down on these radicals. So when you actually look in the square, you see people from all walks of life, all engaged in standing firm, in obeying their leaders. I wouldn't say the square is packed out, it certainly isn't, but we've observed a steady stream of people with supplies going into the square. They're intent on staying. And that isn't just the capital. In the west of the country also there are reports of more actions against local administration offices. And so we're seeing now, yes, the same play out in terms of the protest to try to take away powers from the presidency, to call for earlier elections by these people, but it's reaching a crescendo. The timing of when this will come to an ultimate head is unclear, but it's certainly heading in that direction, Jane. All
right, thank you for that, Andrew Simmons, who says that possibly more than 26 people have now been killed.